It's time to learn Japanese fighting game terms like a cultured gaijin. Last episode, I talked about throws. You know what follows throws? That's right, strikes. But I already talked about that, so I'm teaching you how to say various movement options. Let's start with walking. Verb form is aruku. Noun form is aruki. If you want to specify which direction you're walking, you add forward or backwards, which would be mae or ushiro. So forward walk would be mae aruki, and back walk would be ushiro aruki. This is similar to forward and back throw I explained in the last episode. For micro walks used in situations such as combos are called biaruki. Bi in this context translates to slight or little. Dashes can get a bit complicated since the terminology may change based on a player's background. For example, King of Fighters players may call dashes where a character runs dashu, or dash in English pronunciation. However, they may distinguish non-running dashes as a steppu, or step in Japanese pronunciation. So, Akatsuki's forward dash in Under Night In-Birth can be called mae steppu. Mae is forward as I mentioned earlier. Oh, then his back dash should be called ushiro steppu, right? Well, no. It uses the English word back, so baku steppu. Why? It's just easier to say in Japanese, especially when it's shortened. So in most cases, forward and back dashes are called maeste and bakuste respectively. Anyways, mae dashu, baku dashu, maeste, and bakuste are the most common ways to describe forward and back dashes, and some players will distinguish between a step and a run, while others may not. As a side note, Tekken's Korean backdash is called Yamada Steppu, or Yamaste in Japanese. This is because a player named Yamada is credited in finding this technique. Jumps are called jumpu, which is Japanese pronunciation of the English word. Forward jump is mae jumpu, and back jump is baku jumpu, which is the same pattern that follows dashes. Neutral jumps are a bit different and are called suichoku jumpu, or suichoku means vertical. This is sometimes shortened to suichoku, where the jump is omitted. Double jumps are called nidan jumpu, where nidan roughly translates to 2 steps or 2 stages. This word isn't specific to fighting games though, since it's used in various genres such as platformers. If you want to increase the number of jumps, change the number before dan. Chip's triple jump is called sandan jumpu, where san represents 3. Super jumps may be called differently based on game, but most people use the term high jumpu, which is high jump in Japanese pronunciation. Air dashes are called kuchu dashu, where kuchu translates to aerial. So, aerial dash. This is often shortened to kuda. Instant air dashes are called teiku dashu. Teiku means low altitude. And surprise, surprise, it's often shortened to teida. The last movement option I am going to cover is rolling, very common in SNK games. Forward roll is called zenten, and backward roll is koten. The keen people may have noticed, but these words use the same kanji as forward and backwards, mae and ushiro. Same characters, different ways of reading them. The second kanji translates to roll, so pretty much the same as English. As for the infamous Capcom vs SNK 2 roll cancel technique, this is called zenten kanseru, or kanseru is Japanese pronunciation of cancel. This too is often shortened to zenkyan. Anyways, this is how some movement options are described in Japanese. But before I end this video, I'll be responding to some of the comments from the previous episode. How do you say "my loyal fans" in Japanese, like Zangief's quote in his Super R3? There's no direct translation of that phrase since it sounds a bit too narcissistic for a person to say. This is simply a cultural and language difference. The closest thing that comes to mind is fan no minasama, which would translate to my fans. If you're describing a loyal fan, you can use the adjective nekkyōteki, which means passionate. For example, Marisa wa Zangief no nekkyōteki na fan. Marisa is Zangief's passionate fan. Funny thing, the Japanese lines are completely different for Zangief's super. He says, ここからが本番だ, which roughly translates to, the real bout starts here. On his critical art, he talks about his shining muscles. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions or suggestions for future words to cover, let me know in the comments. And if you haven't already, go check out the other episodes in the playlist. Alright, until next time, have fun with fighting games.